embarking on. Now, he asked them to stay in a place until the Holy Spirit had come. And when the Holy Spirit came, their mission began. And that was you and me. That was all. He wanted them to fellowship together, listen and learn from one another, share in communion, but never asked them to follow anybody. Nobody. Never asked them to worship anything. By the way, remember that the first commandment told you not to worship any graven images, anything drawn from what God has created. He never asked, the commandment never asks you to worship the sun or look for God through the sun or begin to enchant any nonsense. No, the Holy Spirit that was sent to you and I was sufficient. And because Christ had been sacrificed, there was no more sacrifices acceptable to God. So you can't go and kill a fellow human being or kill an animal or kill anything and think you're doing any sacrifice. You are worshiping the devil when you do so. So I wanted all of us that call ourselves Christians to understand this. Christ never asked us to begin to investigate what is contained in tomorrow. Rather, we are told that tomorrow has its own problems. We are now asked to do everything that we can do and say everything we can say to ensure a better tomorrow with or without us. So if you are in this world running to one prophet or running to one person or the other trying to investigate the future, you are doing the devil's work. That is not tomorrow is not your business. Your business is to use your talent, serve one another, do and say whatever is possible to ensure a better tomorrow with or without you and I. Nobody is guaranteed tomorrow. So it is devilish for people to claim ownership of the future when tomorrow is not a guarantee to anyone. So ladies and gentlemen, I want you to capture the mysteries of transfiguration of Christ and the instructions of Christ. And remember that when Christ was on earth, he walked. He wants us to work. He wants us to do everything that is physically possible for us to do and leave the rest to God. He physically went and removed people who were selling in his father's house. He never went into prayers to ask God to come and remove them. No. He allowed his disciples to carry weapons. He only stopped Peter from using the weapon because the time was up. He knew that it was time for him to die. Otherwise, he allowed them to carry weapons for self-defense. So I want you, and he rebelled against the authorities of this world that were selling evil to humanity. So I want you to mimic Yeshua from today. Challenge all the evil authorities of this world and tell them what they are doing wrong, because you are charged to help every soul and save every soul. You are not condemning them, but you are condemning the sins you identified in them. And they also have a duty to correct the sins in you. We don't condemn sinners, but we condemn the sins in them. I want you to be like Yeshua from today and make sure that you defend yourself with everything that you have in your possession. You are here to defend yourself. Christ allowed his disciples to carry weapons. So don't be afraid. You begin to become like David. David used what he had in his position to defeat Goliath. Be in defensive mode and defend your life. Christ will support you in doing so. So please, I hope you have captured this. Everything I said here is critical for this time. Do not miss any points that I have raised here. I thank you. We can't hear you, Kelechi.
Kelechi, we can't hear you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for that. So you can hear me now. So, Citizen AY, we want to take it from there now. You know, basically, there are some questions I would have like to ask before what I'm supposed to ask now. But because Prince have touched the area of defense, self-defense, and I want to link it to the context of the alliance between Oduduwa Nation and Biafra Nation. The reason why we have come to have this alliance, basically one of the reasons, is because we have to defend ourselves against the forces that wants to exterminate us. Now, what is the implication of self-defense and the alliance to the cause of freedom?
Well, the implication of self, they're almost one and the same.
Okay.
Because you see, if you do not have life, you cannot exist. So to protect that life, you need to defend yourself. Now you can defend of Biafrans and Yoruba people or Oduduwa people together will make our survival guaranteed. Not even a question. Because the land mass involved, they know it. The only thing that we are asking from our people now is for them to know that even within the fraudulent 1999 Constitution, there is a section that says you have a right to life. We need to use it, use within it. And very much along the Christian and religious lines, there are issues that you can pick up from there. So I'm just tuning into what Prince Iheracho said. So what I would like to say very much, the alliance between Biafrans and Oduduwa people begins to get stronger and stronger. Yes, for sure, there's going to be mistrust, there's going to be misunderstandings, but we have to build it. We have to build that alliance and Oduduwa people. When the 1967 to 70 war was going on, I was a young child. I was a child. I didn't understand. Even when my teenagers, I didn't understand. But in going through, seeing the 30-year, 40-year process of what you guys went through, it dawned on me that we were facing the same problems. Many of our Yoruba leaders, unfortunately, they got sucked into the. We have to remember something. The Fulanis are not in control of this agenda. The Fulanis are not in control of this agenda. So if we focus on the Fulanis, we've lost the game already. We need to look at the game that's being played at a world level. That is simply it. They are merely proxies for those who are directing the action. So that is why it is critical. If those who are directing the actions are working, why are you working as a Biafra alone, Yoruba alone? Why? We are stronger together, and they fear our unity. They literally fear. Look, 24/7.
So there's something about our unity that would help to. There's something about our unity that they fear, and that will help us get what we have to get.
Very much so. They fear, and that is why defense, self-defense, and alliance, they go hand in hand. They go. Any division that we have in mind, as Biafrans are upset with Oduduwa upset with Biafra, so whatever misgivings we may have, we will do ourselves more harm to really foster that unity, because that unity of strength is what will carry us through. Let me give you a little picture. Let me just give you a little taste of what I'm saying. The people who are oppressing us in the covert February 26, 1885, they signed the Berlin Conference. 14 European countries, including Russia, including US. Listen to what I just said, including Russia, including US. They have fight, they put it to one side and they signed the agreement. And that February 26, 1885 Berlin Conference treaty that they signed has divided Africa till what you see till today. It hasn't changed. Used to oppress us. So why are we not going to unite to free ourselves? That's the only way. That is the only way we can achieve this. So I want to call on everybody, Biafrans, Yorubas, even the Middle Belt, because they have been written out. If you look at the INEC map about how they see the number of voters, they just put Northwest, Northeast, North Central. There is no Middle Belt. There is no Middle Belt. And they say, where is the Middle Belt? So these are the things we need to. This job is much bigger than we realize, but we have to. We can do this. I have every firm belief that us all working together and being very clear about people, independence for Biafrans, independence for Middle Belt, even for the Hausas, because many of them are against what has been happening to them. They're being killed in their own land. So our unities, self-defense and alliance are one and the same. They're in tandem. Before you can get to talk about alliance, you need to have a process of defending and protecting your life. You have a right to life, as said in the Constitution. The UN Charter gives you the right to protect yourself, and you have the right to self-determination. Find ways within it to free ourselves. And that is where our alliance is very, very key. I hope that makes sense, my brother. If you have more questions, I'm happy to answer that. I'll stop for now. Thank you. Please.
Very, very well. That brings me to this question right now, this next question. But before that, I'm going to bring a particular statement made by Antony Blinken. Yesterday, the U.S. Secretary of State, he made a particular statement, and which, of course, that statement makes us understand the international conspiracy, the international focus, the international sentiment, and the international grip, which the Fulanese are using as a basis of holding us down, which means that they are behind it. Now, let me showcase that particular statement by Antony Blinken. Let me showcase it here. I want to bring it so that people can see it again. It's very, very critical I do that now. So let me see if I can see it quickly. Now, I think, yes, this is to support Nigeria's upcoming election. Now, in spite of the killings, in spite of everything, in spite of what is going on, in spite of the terrible things happening to the people, and of course, today we hear that Antony Blinken is preparing to go to the to Israel, just because 9 people were killed, and the issue of Palestine and all of that, and he wants to travel there. But in the contraption called Nigeria, we have been having series of killings continually, and been there for years. Yet what Antony Blinken could talk about was election. He said, today I'm announcing visa restrictions for those involved in undermining democracy in Nigeria. He's talking about democracy in a structure that is not nation. That is not a nation. Now you can see. Now I want us to talk about this. Let's make our submission on this before I go to the next question. And please, before you say anything, Citizen AY, let me hear what Prince has to say about this issue.
I think somebody was calling, so my volume must have gone down. I'm gonna go out and come in. Let Citizen AY take on the question, and then I'll reply. I'm going out and coming back.
All right. Okay, Citizen AY, please deal with this matter. Talk to the people. Let the people understand this.
See, we need to understand something. As far as the world powers are concerned, US, UK, France, Germany, all of them, African lives don't matter. it doesn't matter. My brother, can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, we can hear you. Can hear you. Although we're having a little crack,
okay,
but it's still coming out. It goes very bad out. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I could hear something.
Okay. So you know what? Can just go out and come in again. So that it can be clear. You can go out and come in again, so it to be clear, so that the people can get everything you have to say. You know, and Prince Ezen, wade into this matter before Citizen AY comes in when he's clear with that. Please wade into it.
Yeah. I want to apologize to our audience. I mean, there are some technical issues that that are out of our control. So I hope everybody understands. Now, I have continuously stated and maintained that we are dealing with evil of the highest magnitude. And people need to understand this. The devils of this earth are too crafty, too wicked, too racist, too insane and insightless. How do you know the devil? The devil says one thing and does another. The devil is used to playing games. You see, when you talk to ordinarily, let me use the word ordinarily, when you talk to the European community, Americans, those in leadership in all these so-called civilized but highly uncivilized nations of this world, when you talk to them about the issues of Nigeria and the poor leadership, ordinarily, they will tell you Nigeria is a sovereign nation, that they are not interested, that you're dealing with an independent nation. In fact, they will advise you to go and become part of the system and try to change the system within. They will even agree with you that Nigeria has corrupt leadership. Okay, because these are the games they play. They think they are smart, but they are looking woefully shameful, woefully lacking in integrity. They have nothing of decency attached to them. Forget about how they dress and how they speak and what their color and what they pretend that they are representing. These people will tell you to go and change Nigeria by yourselves. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. Now, I need you to listen and understand that these are the devils talking. The same people telling you this will suddenly change once there is election. Remember, they see election as the only route, the only route, as Americans will say, through which you renew your slavery certificate.
Yep.
Suddenly, they are rushing and putting out statements and rushing into a Nigeria that they told you was a sovereign nation. They activate their army, which I have told you, the army in Nigeria, the law enforcement agencies in Nigeria are simply occupying forces. They are psychologically trained to be that way. They will activate them to kill any and everybody that wouldn't. Haven't you seen your military, the so-called threatening that they are going to use their gun and force you to have election? Look, we need you. Without understanding, you can't do anything in this world. Without understanding, you can't change anything in this world. So we want to make sure you understand what is holding you down. It is these so-called international community that are not local to any other international community. How can you have an international community, but that international community is not local to any other community? Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. Who are these international communities? These are all nonsensical narratives and compositions they use to confuse the hell out of even your most educated. They say they are educated, but they can't analyze anything, let alone critically analyze anything. So what you are seeing Anthony Blinken saying is because election has been activated and they are all working towards making sure you are forced into renewal of your slavery certificate. That is why anybody that tells you that they are Nigerian is simply a conditioned, fixated And as far as I am concerned, and objectively, they are happy, smiling slaves. That's what they are. Anybody that tells you they are a Nigerian is just a conditioned, is conditioned beyond that conditioning we give to animals. Okay? So I want you to understand the nature and the way these people operate. On one hand, they will tell you it is a sovereign nation. On the other hand, you will see a sovereign nation going to usher in everything they have as their case at Chatham House. All of them will be rushing to Chatham House to go and declare their intentions. Yet they are a sovereign nation. But we have not asked ourselves, where is the Chatham House in Nigeria where prospective American presidents or prospective British prime ministers come to tell you what they are going to do and what they are not going to do? Yet you claim to be a nation, a country. Aren't you ashamed? So, in simple terms, I just want to bring it to the open so you understand that the same people that tell you that you are a sovereign nation, that you should go and solve your own problem, immediately will change their narrative and begin to do that which is evil in the face of God. By now, telling you that you must vote, becoming so active in your local politics. In fact, they will even tell you that they will have international observers. International observers, but you as a sovereign nation will never have international observers. You will never be able to go and observe their own elections. Aren't you confused and stupid? Aren't you embarrassed of what you have become? Aren't you shameful of yourselves? And you tell me you are a professor, you are a PhD, you are a master's degree holder, you have a first degree in this and that, and you begin to dissect academia that somebody handed over to you for your own self-destruction without you seeing what is in it. Aren't you embarrassed that you're practicing a religion that somebody gifted to you and you couldn't see through it? So I am asking the citizens of this world, particularly our Yoruba brothers and sisters, for us to all wake up and know that this is the time, there is no other time. This is the time to stand firm and declare that which God has put in you for only this period and this space. Because you cannot practice any of those things once you depart from this world. You must declare yourself. You must be the one to introduce yourself. You must be the one to identify yourself. You must be the one. How else can I put it? So let me just rest it by reminding you that those who are telling you now to go and vote are the ones that told you that you are a sovereign nation. Those who are forcing you and telling you that how you're going to vote, we are the same people that told you that you are a sovereign nation. You should go and do your own thing. We must do our own thing right now in our own way. I thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Citizen AY. Here we are, poverty, death, everything going wrong in the contraption. Of course, it's not a country, it's not a nation. It doesn't have the definition of a nation or country. Everything going wrong, and yet nobody says anything. They tell you go and solve your problems. Suddenly, election comes, and they are so active. They are bringing international observers. They are so very, very keen and very, very interested in making sure there is what they call free and fair election, which they first organized in 1960, and they destroyed the whole system and rigged the whole thing themselves, and now talking about free and fair, and then making sure that they make sure that this election continues, and Blinken is out talking. What do you have to say about this?
Well, just to go back to thank you very much for the words spoken by my elder brother Prince here. You know, a lot of very, very strong statements made there and facts that many should hold on to. Now, what I would like to say is this: what Anthony Blinken was saying there, like I said before, the value that as far as there is no value to the life of an African. There is no value to the life of an African, Once you can understand that that's their thinking, that is what how they operate, in how they interact with Africans. They are the ones in control. They say we do. We have no quit. We have no, we have no right to anything. We have to, in their mind. But they forget that we are the first people of this, the first people. Yoruba land, Yoruba people has been in existence for at least years. There's a fact. I've got evidence of this. This is not a question of somebody saying. I've got saying. And even they were the ones to find that evidence. The Biafrans, the same thing. So we have to start understanding is that when they make pronouncements like that, it's a way for them. Every 4 years, every few months, they will come back and they will put the drug in again, so that you don't come out of that system. That is what we have to break down. Knowledgeable. We are to look at how Biafrans and Oduduwa people look at it outside. When you go and walk in that country, just see the level of success that we have. 20 all countries around the world. But then in our own surroundings, it's designed in such a way that we are enslaved. We cannot move a muscle, and they know the reason why they're doing that is they are benefiting enormously. The gold, the oil, the gas. They are benefiting so much that they just want us to never realize the value. Now, this is where we, Biafrans, Oduduwa, Middle Belt, and we need to work together to begin to empower our people. One of the first things that we need to tell our people, I found this out the other day, is this. Within that same constitution, do you realize government areas, they have no constitutional powers? Zero constitutional powers. What does that mean? The government hands down the money, the budget for the local government areas to the state, and hold on to it, and there is no constitutional powers that the local can use to demand for that money. That is why our never been developed. It's been designed that way. It was put into the 1999 Constitution at the beginning. When we talk about that Constitution is a fraud, but this is what we mean, because the foundation of that Constitution, people to whom the benefit should come to force, have been denied access to those resources, and vote again to keep in the same system with the support of those who probably the Fulanis cannot write the document. The Fulanis cannot write that document. I maintain that document because I've made some comparisons with Australian documents, Canadian documents, and I've seen something. So this is not the handwork of the Fulani. This is some of the colonial powers, and that's what we have to really understand. The game it's time we start playing that game. The simple thing we need to do is unite. So I'm not interested in anyone to the break this. I'm more interested in how we are going to awake our people in these communities, in our local languages. Let them know that what you call a government, we don't yet. They have deliberately disempowered local government areas, which means that they sit on the money meant to improve your local government area. And they will not give past the money to government. That thing is when the people go and elect somebody now in the local government area, you say the elections in the local government area. The next day, when you go and ask them how to, you say, well, I'm waiting for the state. The state will give the money. The state hasn't given the money. So you're stuck. So what the system is the problem. The voting is your waste of time until we way to fix it is to go for self-determination. We need to go for self-determination. So what Anthony Blinken and others are doing. Guterres came. He said, we are having some of the differences between the people who are being killed and the people who are killing. The same Nigerian tax. But you are telling us to have a sit-down discussion discussion with them. If they would say, I'm Israel against whoever is killing them. But when it comes to us, oh no, can you see the subtle differences? Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing of the situation? And the only way we can do it is our unity. Our unity is Biafrans, Yorubas, Middle Belt. Definitely those three. If the house is fine, but those three, we need to unite, because the people who are oppressing us, they are united in their. Let me say that again. The people who are oppressing us, they are united in the. So what must we do? We must unite in getting our freedom. We need to get our freedom. Anything else will not cut it. So I'll stop there for now. Thank you very much.
Before I bring Dr. Ngozi into the matter to talk about this, I want to still ask Citizen AY this. Citizen
Yes.
AY, there's this,
Yes.
we are very, very religious.
Yes.
And I think the colonial masters also saw when they were coming into our place, they discovered that we like worshiping. We are very religious. So they felt that they needed to bring pattern to us, because since we love to worship, and there need to be something presented to us as the best and the superior form of worship. And now, if you look at it also critically now, you discover that in the Oduduwa nation, we have the two major religion, the Christian religion. Of course, Christianity became a religion when the Roman Empire took over it and created some stuff as a control. And then we have Islamic religion. And then now we have these two religions. And then these so-called political powers want you to submit yourself to one of the religions according to the order, based on who is in charge and all of that. And then they influence these people who are in charge of the religious organizations to make sure they toe their line politically to sustain Nigeria and keep Nigeria on control, based on the fact that the religion has become a means of controlling the minds of the people, so that the politicians will have a way of keeping the contraption together by using the religious leaders to continue the narrative in the religious circle. Now, what is your take about the complication about religion in the Oduduwa nation? What is your take about it?
Now, one of the things, I think one of the first things we have to realize that this is not unique to Biafra. This is the same system right across the whole of Africa. It's the same in French. Whether you speak in English, the same system. Cause confusion, cause religion. Force them to speak the religion. Even the French read the Bible in French. Read the English, the Bible in French. The only one that is the same is still both in France and in the French colonies and the British colonies. But the interpretation is still very much influenced by all those external forces. The things that I would like to go back to again and state is the issue of the Berlin Conference. One of the things that they wrote, they had a saying, they said to eat, drink, think, and sleep. So what they've done is taking our African minds out of our body, using religion and replacing it with either Islam or foreign to us. So many of us are believing in all these prayers and everything else, and not understanding that this is just pure brainwashing. And Prince here just said, before they came, we were religious. But if you look at it, the thing as spirituality was taken away. Why is it that everything that our artifacts was put in museums? We have to stare at what our ancestors did behind the museum wall. We can't touch it. But they're giving us the Bible. Why? This is psychological. What they've done here is to really destroy. The only people that can restore ourselves is us. We have to emancipate ourselves from ourselves, can free our mind. Only us. Bob Marley was so right. Questions about the way he went, but let's not go into that one, because the word when you hear just think, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, but I just can fear our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy. None of it can stop other time. How long must they kill our prophets? Stand aside and look. Whoa. Some say it's just that we've got to fulfill.
Wow, it's as if you are the one who sang the song. It's as if you are the one who sang the song.
This song is all I ever. Oh yeah, redemption.
Wow.
Redemption
song.
Disconnect ourselves from this brainwashing.
Yes.
Religion. I'm not saying it. Please, if you are practicing it in Africa, you need to really, it's a different. You will understand how it's been taught in Europe and how it's been taught in Africa, and we need to understand that they are using this to control our mind. That we have to separate that. We need to reconnect to what our ancestors did. How built kingdom that lasted for centuries upon centuries. Using how they did all of the things that it worked, and they came. The people that colonized us, they came to the entire kingdom. They burnt it off. They took away stuff. They profited from it. And you are telling me to support one Nigeria? Nigeria is not my name. I reject the name Nigeria. I will reject it until the day I die.
Wow.
Forever. I am a Yoruba man. And the imposition, for as long as you answer to a foreign name, you are a slave. You are a slave. And the Bible will condition you to accept the Bible and Quran. And they're conditioning your mind to accept the construct they created. And that is what our people, we need to go down spoken to told to our people in our languages. Son Yoruba, to speak it in their knock, all that, to make sure they understand that we have to repair. We have people think when I say that people say, oh, you're making an excuse, but it's a fact. Psychologically, African in us, and they put European in there. They've taken away the African in us and they put the Arab. Arab and the European do not belong on African soil, just like Africans don't belong on European soil. African soil with African mind to get the best out of our lives, and they've destroyed that. So that the first ones to really express what has really damaged us for many, and it's time we begin to do that work. We have a lot of work for us to do, but it starts with our unity. When we unite, no force on this planet can stop us. When we unite, because the people who are oppressing us, they are united in our oppression, united in our struggle to get our freedom. No question to some extent. Or if you need further clarification, I'm happy to provide it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for that. In fact, you brought us to another point of this, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. So redemption comes when emancipation is done. And he said something critically, by yourself. You must emancipate yourself. By yourself. So, Dr. Ngozi, you're welcome to the program. Before Prince weighs into that, because I know he has so many things to say regarding self-emancipation, mental emancipation. Now, Dr. Ngozi, you're welcome live to the program today. I don't know if you are busy or you can talk now. Can you talk now? You can talk now, Doctor. Okay, you're muted. It seems you're muted.
Yes.
And all right. Before I ask you, for our viewers, you're going to have time to call in, because we know some of you may have a question to ask. I can see Vine Maxwell is already asking if they can call in. Don't worry, we're going to give you time after the next question. As it goes around now, you're going to come in and you're going to ask your questions in anything, whether pertaining religion, whether talking about whatever you want to ask, you can ask. Doctor, now emancipating yourself from mental slavery. How can I do that?
Kelechi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you all so much. That's a great word. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. How can you do that? just as the word says.
Hold on. Hold your thought first. Hold on.
I was listening to the song and I was just busy. I was singing it.
Doctor, before you go on, let me say this. I have been taught in church to believe so many things and to believe in Nigeria and to pray for Nigeria. And now Citizen AY is telling me to emancipate myself from mental slavery. How can I do that, for God's sake? I am used to believing in Nigeria.
Yes. Emancipating yourself from mental slavery is a question. I mean, it's a good one you're asking, but it's something that every individual has to do by themselves. And mental slavery, just like the previous speaker has said, Citizen AY has said, it is, if we don't do that by ourselves, we are as good as just dead. We are as good as dead if you cannot emancipate yourself from that mental slavery. And that mental slavery is shown in different things going on in Nigeria today. In that contraption, going to the Chatham House, having the military do things that they morally know is wrong, but because somebody is there using their psyche, working up their psyche, telling them to go and do that thing. And then you see the governors, the local government chairman, the senators, the legislators, nobody is talking. That is mental slavery. All these years, none of them is talking, even when they see things that are morally wrong going on in this society. They are not talking. Look at the military. There was they used the army tank, the machine, to bulldoze somebody's house. Innocent people's homes are being burnt down in different parts of Nigeria, in the southeast, in the southwest, in the north. So once they see you as a threat and they cannot kill you or get you, the next thing, they will go and pull down your house. In what country in the world today do you see sane people use the military artillery that we, the citizens, we use our resources, we use our money to buy, to give to the Nigerian military to protect us from external invaders? The same tools, the same equipment we bought and gave them to protect us, they are now using the same equipment to attack us. So that mental slavery that is making them, that pushes them to use our own, what we approved for them, the machineries, the guns that we approved for them to use to protect us, they now use it to destroy us. That is the height of mental slavery. And that is why it has come to the point now we don't have to beg people to emancipate themselves from mental slavery. Nigerians that want to emancipate themselves, they already did that. We don't have to preach to those that don't want to do that. When they pull people's homes down with Nigerian military and armored tanks, did you see the governors come out to condemn that? Did you see the senators come out to condemn that? Did you see any of the legislators in that particular community, in that ward? We voted somebody in that ward to go and represent us in Abuja. When that home is being pulled down and all those houses are being burnt down, where are the senators? Where are the legislators? Where are the governors that come from that area? Have they come out to say, no, you can't do this? Even if you are looking for somebody, go and look and find a place, find a way to get the person. You cannot destroy an inanimate object just because you are looking for somebody. That shows you the psyche and the mentality of these people that call themselves Nigerian leaders. And that is why Nigerians are ready to liberate themselves from that mental torture, from that mental slavery. And we will start by no election in Biafra land, because the people that we've elected to protect us, to talk for us, before, none of them are talking while we are being killed, while our homes are being burnt down, while our homes are being pulled down by Nigerian armored tanks. None of them is talking. So why are you going again to now say you are now going to vote the same people again, or conduct any election in Biafra land or Oduduwa land, or even Arewa land, even in the middle belt or in the south side? That is not happening, because we have no leadership. We have none. Thank you.
Wow. Prince, before you see this mental slavery, I have been conditioned for so long. I have to, my mom taught me how to pray for the country. She took me to church, and I'm told to pray for Nigeria, to pray for the leaders, to continue. It will be better one of these days. I was very little. They take me to church. Sometimes I fast. They take us through the process of fasting and prayer. We fast for Nigeria. We pray for Nigeria. And now I am getting old. I am still praying. In fact, the prayer point is now more. It's not working in my time. Now, I want, before you say anything about this, I want to play this particular video that has to do with, it's just about 30 seconds. We talked about this man. I don't know whether he's doing it politically or he's real, but he says, we have failed the younger ones, and the best thing we're going to do is to get away and get out of their way. Now, let me play it. It's so funny because I watched it several times and it was amusing. But anyways, but it makes sense, because if you talk about the older ones, we're talking about the religious leaders, we're talking about the political, criminals and all of that, and using the religious people to hold us. Now, let's watch this briefly. It's just 10 seconds.
There's a new force of nature at hand, stirring all over the world. They are the young people whom, frankly, we have failed, who are angry, who are organized, who are capable of making a difference. They are a moral army. And the most important thing that we can do for them is to get the hell out of their way. There's a new force of nature at hand, stirring all over the world. They are the young people whom, frankly, we have failed, who are angry, who are organized, who are capable of making a difference. They are a moral army. And the most important thing that we can do for them is to get the hell out of their way.
He's talking about a devastating, weapon, which is the young people. They have failed. They have actually done so many wrongs too. And these young people are very organized, and they have received that, teaching of mental slavery. They have been able to save themselves from that mental, restriction and all of that. And he said the only thing they can do is to get out of their way. Please, Citizen AY, how do you juxtaposition this with the context of Nigeria, or maybe Prince is here? Let me bring him in before you wade into Citizen AY. Let me get Prince to talk about this. Now, this man is talking about the young people who have now liberated themselves mentally, and they have become they are now mentally stable, and they want to take what belongs to them. And he said to them, the best thing we can do now is to get out of their way. Now, how do we apply this to what we're doing?
I couldn't agree more. Can I begin by making it clear that majority of the people occupying the space in Africa, particularly Nigeria, are suffering from this mental slavery our brother spoke about. And I want to home in on the fact that, I said it before, we are dealing with occupying forces That's my sister articulated it very well when we are talking about people that we arm to protect us. They turn every ammunition against us. Mental slavery had made us not even realize that these people are occupying forces, psychologically programmed to work against us, to destroy us.
Go on, please. I want you to explain to our audience, those who don't understand what you mean by occupying forces. Let them understand, please. Make them understand.
Occupying forces are forces that look like yours, but they are trained psychologically to kill you, to destroy you, to torture you, to do every harm possible to keep you enslaved. They are occupying forces. They might be your brothers and sisters, but they are trained to work against you. They look like you, but they are not yours. They are occupying forces. That is what you're seeing. That's why Nigerian military will never look friendly to you as a civilian, because they are occupying forces. Let alone now they have been infused with terrorists that are sent to kill you and take your land. People need to wake up to that. It is the same mental slavery that led you, Kelechi, and led many people to go and listen to preaching that says, pray for Nigeria, pray for your leaders, pray for this and pray for that. The same mental slavery that confused an average Nigerian to begin to worship things God created and put under us. Things like money. Things like trees, because it is through trees that we make money. People began to worship things God created and put under us. They began to worship the sun. They began to worship the trees. They began to worship they created holy water that God made for our own use and put under us. They created holy oil. They created now holy sand. They now create all sorts of madness, and they don't know what they are doing when they are told that they are being idolatrous in worshiping anything created by God. They even went as far as creating the worshiping things man made from the things God created. Things like money, things like crude oil, things like what you call natural resources that have no meaning without a human being giving it a name, giving it a meaning, giving it value. The Europeans and the Americans, they are worshiping idols, money, crude oil. They're worshiping all these things. That's why they want to enslave everybody so they can carry on worshiping all these things. Let me make it clear that God is a jealous God. And God has made it clear that it is only He that will be worshipped. And that worship must be done only in two ways. Not through holy water, not through holy oil, not through the sun, not through money, not through anything. It is only in two ways. Those two ways are in spirit and in truth. Until we understand this, our march for freedom, because it's only God that can get it for us, we are very few. And God wants to work with us, but we must acknowledge God in His fullness. And then God would come and use us to obtain this freedom. So we need to get away from that mental slavery and see God for what God is, the creator of everything. He made sure we understand this by making sure that neither you nor I, nor our respective ancestors, respective parents came out of this world with a pin. Nobody came in with a pin. Nobody came in with a leaf. Nobody came in with a grass. Nobody came in with a stone. Nobody came in with anything whatsoever. So God made it obvious that He created everything. And all He did was to make us recreator by using the things that He created to make other things. We need to capture this and know that our duty is to worship God only in spirit and in truth, not through whatever we carved or whatever we think it is where it is happening. not through our fellow mortal beings. Stop following these people in robe and thinking that they are leading you to God. They can't even lead themselves. They don't know where they are going. And you're following them, looking for the next miracle. You need to be very careful. We are following only God. And we are going to get our freedom through God. Oluwa, Oluwa. We are going to do it with God. Please, that is emancipation from your mental slavery. They have planted so many evil in your minds, and you are happily and smiling along as a slave. Stop your happy and smiling slavery behavior. The next thing you tell me, oh, Nigerians are happy people. It is happiness in insanity. Happiness. I deal with mental health patients. They're always smiling. You are smiling in insanity. You better understand it. Listen, I got to go now. I told you I have only 1 hour.
Yes.
Somehow I've trickled over, and they are calling me and calling me and calling me. I need to really rush. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I hope you understand.
All right, please, definitely. Of course, you said it before the program, so
nice. We'll talk again now.
Thank you so much.
Bye now.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work and take care.
Yeah, you said.
Thank you.
Bye.
He said people who have mental problem always smile. They always smile and they're always happy. So it simply means that if you're happy doesn't mean that you're all right, or if you're smiling doesn't mean you're all right. Now, before I bring in Citizen AY to say on this, also to expand more on this issue of mental slavery, because what we are finding now, why we are still down, is because we have refused to get up as a people. If we are determined to get up, we are going to get up. Britain cannot hold us. US cannot hold us. They can't hold us. But we have been kept down, and they gave us something that will keep us down. They gave us the overdose of religion. And we have taken that overdose of religion, and we keep listening to people who are telling us to pray for this thing they have designed and to keep us down. So mental slavery, we are kept down by what they have given to us by overdose. And we have taken it so much that we are so comfortable, they have to tell us what to do. Pray for Nigeria, we pray. And sing for Nigeria, we sing. Dance for Nigeria, we dance. And everything we do is about Nigeria. And we are so comfortable laughing in our madness or in our mental situation, you know. And that is what Prince is saying. Now, I'm going to say to the people who are watching, if you want to call in, you can call in now. The number is, you have a question to ask our guests and all of that, to ask Citizen AY or Dr. Ngozi, whatever question you have to ask, you can ask, and whatever you want to say, you say +212 707 898 194 +212 707 898 194. I'll say one more time, +212 707 898 194. Now, Citizen AY, before you wade into this, there's something Prince talked about, of course, on the same narrative of people smiling but suffering, mental problem. And we have a caller already. I wanted to show. Okay, let me take this. Let me take this from Maxwell. Maxwell, you're welcome live and direct, and the people are listening. Our guests are here to also wade into what you have to say. You're welcome. I think the network. Okay, Maxwell, you're welcome. Please go on live and direct. You are live and direct. Please go on.
Thank you so much, Mazi Kelechi, and good afternoon to my senior brother AY, Citizen AY. Thank you so much for coming, and good afternoon also Dr. Ngozi, our beautiful sister. And this is Maxwell from Bolgatanga, the upper eastern part of Ghana, where my father comes from. Look, if we are waiting our people to emancipate themselves, their minds or wherever, in order to give you a good environment, that will come today, it won't come tomorrow, it will not come, in the next century to come. We will continue to suffer, we will continue to weep, we will continue to cry for what the central government, that is the demonic federal government of Nigeria, controlled by the Caliphate North, are doing to us. Look, religion to me is not bad. That is my opinion. But the bad thing in religion is the wickedness and the greediness of our people. They have turned religion into an avenue, to extract money from our people. They have introduced their own ways of doing things. Religion in Africa, especially in Nigeria, has been influenced by individual characters. People that are known criminals that are now using religion in order to extort our people.
Very true.
Group controlled by the cabals are now using it as well, using these religious people, some of them, in order to perpetuate evil among our people. They have dined with the harlot, that is the central government. The harlot in this context is the federal government that has opened her bed for everybody to sleep with, to go to and dine with. And that is why they cannot speak. If you see any politician speaking boldly in Nigeria, know that the person has not been compromised or dine or go in bed with that harlot called Nigeria. That is what. How many are they? Is there any of them that is speaking out? Let them speak and see if they will not, if that harlot, which is the federal government, will not divorce them. Check around you. These are the things that are keeping us down. And while people are coming out to give and struggle and put out their opinion and the interest to free themselves, take away themselves from all these things, other people are now dragging them in. This is the problem we have.
Yes, Maxwell. I want to ask you something. I want to ask you something. Yes, Maxwell, I want to ask you something. You were formerly in the Nigerian military, and of course, you were part of the occupying forces that Prince was talking about. Now, I want to show you something because you were part of the occupying forces, and you are going to tell us. I want you to say something about this madness and how this kinds of madness happen. I want to play a particular video. Please just hang on, don't go off. Just hang on so that you are going to comment on this. You were part of the occupying forces when you were in the military. Now you have seen the light and you have decided to fight for the freedom of the people. Now see, let me play this particular video and you're going to tell us how this come about, or where does this instruction come from, and how did they decide to carry out all of these kinds of action as occupying forces. Now,
Let them know. Maxwell, so you can go on. So what do you say about this?
Thank you so much. Yes, Mazi Kelechi, I have seen the video before. That was when young soldiers were firing in certain ablaze houses, I think in Enugu or part of any of the eastern part of the region, southeastern region. And when you listen to them there, these are not professionals. These are not trained professional soldiers. These are not conventional soldiers. In as much as we are bad in the discharge of the orders given to us from above, there are so many of us that have souls in us. And I will not speak for any other person, Mazi Kelechi, and our listeners, our dear listeners. I am going to speak for myself. Because once I am in active, a process or in the war front, once I don't kill innocent people, and nothing will make me tamper with or loot anything, I see in my way. Unless something that I will pick from there, eat from there to at least stop, hunger from, killing me in the war front. But to take proceeds of war to my house, I forbid it. And that is what my mom my dad told me while I was in Nigeria. You see, there are so many, these boys that you saw firing, these I call them trigger happy, soldiers. If you are giving orders, there are others that are very, very deadly. That is why we say, use your number 6. When you see soldiers telling my brother, my colleague, comrade, please use your number 6. That number 6 is that extra sense that you have to at least say, this action that I'm going to take right now, is it humanly needed for me to do it? Is it human for me to, take this kind of action? Once your conscience says no, you don't need to do it. This is the reason why I resigned from the army 2004.
Yes.
Such orders were given to me to go to Southern Kaduna, Kapancha, Tachia local government, to do the same thing the people I were asked to do there. Okay. In fact, look.
So that's what I'm trying to find out. That's what I wanted to know. Maxwell, that was what I wanted to know, actually. I wanted to know if there are orders like this that come. So you have proven, you have said it, that when orders like that do come, that means the Fulani Caliphate is actually running the program of the British and running the program of slavery and subjugation. So that was what I was trying to find out.
If you listen to those guys, what they were saying there is not just, it's not militarily, white.
Yes.
Ota, Abasu, when a soldier in Hausa is telling you, Ota, Abasu, that is using the rifle to fire them. Give them fire. These are obnoxious language that's supposed to be. And remember, most of these soldiers are not even educated. Most of them are not educated.
Thank you so much.
I passed through nursery, primary, and secondary. And I have so many courses in the army in Nigeria, both within the country and outside the country. I am exposed, and I know what it takes to handle human beings.
Thank you so much.
I don't have the right to do what these people are doing. What they are doing is the order that they give to them.
Yes.
And as you know, Igbo people say, when you place a fighter will not say, oh, my coach asked me to lie like this when the enemy is changing other tactics, You have to fight according to. But this one is.
All right, thank you so much. Because of time.
For me, I cannot do it.
Thank you so much. Because of time.
But it's left for the soldier now to use his wisdom and conscience in order to address civilians that are not a threat.
Yes, thank you so much.
That is demonic. That is my position on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Just because of time, you have a lot to say. I know you always have a lot to say, but because of time, so that our guests can wade into this. Citizen AY, you have seen the level of destruction that Nigeria has brought to lives of people, and you can imagine the barbaric behavior of the people. Now, Prince Ezem was talking, of course, as we were saying initially, based on what he was saying. Now, what do you think? What do you say about what he was talking about then? Okay, it seems that we've lost Citizen AY when he returns. Dr. Ngozi, are you still here? And let me know if we have them here. Okay, let's pick this call first before we continue. Maybe when we return.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Dr. Ngozi, you saw that level of wickedness and barbaric attitude by those soldiers, and these are one of the reasons. Now you can hear from Maxwell that these orders actually come from their ogas to kill the people. Now, how do we begin to look at things in the eyes based on the fact that our religious leaders still tell the people until yesterday and even this Sunday, they are still going to tell the people to pray for Nigeria? They have been used by these same political idiots and wicked foes to keep the people's mind stopped and holding on to what is killing them. Now, what do you have to say about this? What do we do? How can the people begin to now listen to themselves and understand that whenever they are told to pray for Nigeria, they're only told to maintain their slavery mentality?
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelechi. Praying for Nigeria. Again, we try to let people know that the relationship you have with your creator is always going to be a personal thing. Your relationship with your creator is a personal thing. It's not by what somebody else tells you or what somebody else defines for you or what you think is the status quo. Your relationship with God, the relationship with your Allah, your relationship with your creator is something personal. If you follow the teachings of God, the teachings of Allah, you will find instances where they've abhorred violence. They've abhorred violence. They've abhorred everything that will degrade humanity. It's in the Bible. It's in the Quran. You just have to read it. So those people that tries to use religion to continue to perpetuate evil and continue to keep you down so that you cannot start questioning. Let me use that word. Certain things that people do. Those are the people that are really destroying the country. So it is not just using religion. It is also our responsibility to know that in Nigeria there are just two class of people. Two class of people. Those perpetuating this criminality, those perpetuating this injustice, those perpetuating these killings, and those that are being killed, those that are on the other side suffering this. This video you just showed, let me tell you one thing. Most times, there is no, even going by the Constitution of Nigeria, there is no way those people that have those guns that are shooting and saying, there is no way they can enter any state in Nigeria without the approval of the state governors and the state legislators. There is no way. Even though we know,
correct.
Even though we know things like the police is being federally controlled and stuff like that, there is no way those people are killing and destroying those homes, killing those people. There is no way they will have capacity to do what they are doing if the governor of that state, the senators in that state, the House of Representative members in that state, the legislators in that state, and to extension, maybe the traditional leaders in that state, there is no way those people will come in and wreak that havoc without the approval of the state governors. And that is why it is important that every single Nigerian, if you want to vote, you have to ask yourself, what has your governor and legislators done to protect the massacre of your people? What have they done to stop people from destroying their land, destroying your homes, taking over your homes, and placing your parents, your mothers and sisters in IDP camps? You have to ask that question before you can have the moral to go and vote again in any election in Nigeria. Because those people shooting those guns, whether they are trained, whether they are not trained, whether they are fake, whether they are not fake, they are Nigerian military. Whether they are trained, it's not the business of Nigerian citizens to know, oh, this military, these ones are trained, these ones are not trained, these ones are, but they are Nigerian military. Nigerian military, they have a process, there's a protocol they go through before they finally arm these guys to go into the community. It does not happen in a vacuum. When they give them guns, there is already an order. There's already an order to them. When you go to this community, if you see something like that, fire, clear everybody. We all know. So when you have an order like this, and you